right. You guys ready?
Yeah, ready.
Let's do this.
Is this are these like live or
No.
you just record them and then edit them and
So if we totally mess it up, it doesn't have to go anywhere.
that's good.
All right. Welcome to Broker to Broker, brought to you by AIM, Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. I'm your host, JP Hussey of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors. And today we have, the first time we've done two, which is great. David Monson.
Yes.
And Stacy Catmull.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Yep, you got it.
Of Altius. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
So I'm nailing them all, right?
Yeah.
Of Altius Mortgage, right? Out of, I know you're coming from Utah.
Yes.
All the way from Utah. What part of Utah?
Salt Lake County.
From Salt Lake, okay.
Yeah.
Very competitive market.
It is.
That we were talking about a bit before the show. And so, David, you are the owner, right? And you have
co-owner,
a
yes.
co-owner.
Yep.
Would you like to mention the
Neil
other?
Bingham's my partner. Yep.
Who is that again?
Neil Bingham.
Neil Bingham, okay. And I know, Stacy, you're fairly new to the team, right?
Yeah, I've been with Altius for about a year now.
About a year now, year and a half. Okay. Yeah, and what I'd love to do is 45 minutes, it goes very quick, but I want everyone and for myself to get to know you guys a bit, right? So if you could give me a quick background, David, of we know you're out there in Utah, but even just on the mortgage side, I know you got in 1998-ish, right?
Correct.
If you could give us a quick breakdown of until now, from start to finish in the mortgage industry.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the only reason my first manager even hired me was because I had a loan when I walked in the door. But I came right out of construction, and I wasn't really dressed for the interview, but I had a deal in my pocket.
Sure.
I think he was willing to hire me.
Yeah.
So fast forward, worked at two brokerages before Neil and I launched Altius in January of 2007.
Yep.
And really, it was just for us. You know, I was originating loans. He was originating loans. We did really similar volumes. And, you know, we just wanted to take the best things from the companies we had been at and leave behind the things that we didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it turned out a few other people who knew us that were in the industry were like, hey, can we come over? And so, you know, we did that. And, you know, and then the market crash happened, right?
Right.
And fortunately, Neil and I made some really, really good financial decisions in 2007 that enabled us to weather that storm when 2/3 to 3/4 of all our competitors evaporated.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then 2009 and going forward just kept going, you know.
Yeah, it was very interesting. A bit before we sat down here, you had mentioned that you started this company in 2007, right before everything went south.
Right.
But you had a fairly successful 2008 and 2009 because you prepared for it. You saved money.
Well, and just to correct that, maybe I wouldn't say that 2008 was fairly successful. I think that 2008
but you made it through.
We made it through.
Okay.
We made it through. We had saved some money that we made in the business in 2007. We made it through 2008. And then in 2009, right, then, you know, things started to get better. HARP came out, right?
Yeah,
we were able to actually
them.
close some loans. And, yeah, you know, just, and then really we just grew organically. Like, really, the only reason we started it was for Neil and I. We just wanted the best platform as an originator, you know, and that's what we built for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we built for ourselves. And then other people just organically were like, hey, can we come over? And we just grew and grew.
Yeah.
And probably got to like, I don't know, 20 loan officers. And then we kind of got a big break. We had, you know, at that time, a lot of people were leaving the broker channel and going correspondent.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is a lot of these companies, the owners were just, I mean, for lack of a better word, they were maybe greedy, right? They were just looking to opportunistically take advantage of the implosion of the broker market. And they thought, hey, if we go correspondent, we can build in whatever pricing we want, right? The only thing that people like that don't realize is an entrepreneurial, successful, good loan officer is going to look out for their client. They want
100%.
They want reasonable pricing, right? So there was a company in our market that did that. Some of their top people, you know, were looking around, and we were fortunate enough to have them think that we were the place to be. And so then that took us, you know, and then, you know, that took us to a higher level at that point.
Yeah, so you started with, it was just you and Neil.
Yeah.
Right? and then it's grown since then. I want to get to that a little bit later of where
Sure.
you're at now.
Okay.
But that's how you started, right? You're still originating to this day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really important to us. I mean, even, no matter how big we get, I just don't want to lose touch with the daily
I'm right
walk
there
of
with
a loan
you.
officer.
Yeah.
What you're going through, I need to know what that is.
Yeah.
I need to be experiencing that.
Mm-hmm.
I have challenges on my deals. I've found ways to get things done that maybe a lot of lenders may not consider doing. And, we want to be able to share that with our loan officers and be as successful as we can.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Stacy, didn't forget about you. I know you're over
Hi.
here. Hi. You've been, you said, a year and a half, right, with in the mortgage industry too?
Nope. I've
Okay.
been in the industry. I'm still kind of a baby. I've been in the industry just about 3.5 years.
Okay.
So I've been with Altius Mortgage for about a year and a half.
And you're a licensed loan officer,
I am. Yeah.
and also business development. Would you
Yes.
say
Yep.
recruiting?
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Which area do you spend more of your time in right now?
Right now, it's actually pretty equal.
Okay.
I probably need to fix that.
David's over here like, what?
No. No, you know what? You don't underestimate the value of your business development manager also knowing what it's like to be a loan officer.
Oh yeah, everyone has to.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and I think so many companies, their recruiters don't even know what a loan officer does. She's experiencing it daily. The value of that is just immeasurable.
And especially being on the recruiting side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of recruiters out there.
Yeah.
I get them all the time on LinkedIn or wherever it might be. And
Yeah.
it's just that pitch, right, of we'll give you this, we'll give you that, but they're not understanding what that individual loan officer needs. So for you to be
Right.
on the ground floor, like you had said, it's great.
Well, it's a big deal for me because I feel like I'm one of the gang. You know what I mean? I'm not like the recruiter
There's a
kind of
culture
sitting
there.
on the outside trying to get in, trying to fit in. I mean, I'm a loan officer, and a lot of people know me. A lot of my peers know me as a loan officer first, and then as a recruiter. So I think it gives me a little bit of an edge as a recruiter.
More
for sure.
credibility, 100%. Okay, so before you got into the mortgage world,
Yeah.
right? Because after speaking as well, your background allowed you to dive in to Altius, right?
Yeah.
Kind of hit the ground floor running because you had to back around in other things as well, right?
Right.
That led to this. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So I mean, since I could remember, I've always just dreamt of being in the mortgage industry. Right? Said nobody ever.
Right.
Anyway, my background is actually for 20 years. My husband and I were in MLM.
Okay.
We were at the top of an MLM company. We spent a lot of time recruiting, training, traveling. Basically, semi-retired for the first 20 years of our marriage. It was
Wow.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Whoa.
So then
why
I know,
mortgages?
right? Seriously, I never thought about being a loan officer. Never thought about mortgage. Our company took a turn. They went in a direction we didn't want to go, so we sold our business, and it kind of left me with. I was 41 years old, and the kids were all out of the house, and I really just needed something to do. I had a neighbor who I'll be forever thankful for to getting me into the mortgage industry. He had a company, and he was looking for a recruiter, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. That sounds right
kinda
up
what
my
you do.
alley.
Yeah.
So I started there, worked with him, grew his company. About a year and a half ago, Dave and Neil made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and I jumped over to Altius and have been working with these guys since then.
That's awesome. Yeah, so your background
It is
allowed.
awesome.
Yeah. Can you touch a little bit on that of how Stacy, like you you made her an offer she couldn't refuse, so you obviously saw something there for where you wanted to take your business, right?
We did. But I mean, to give you an idea and just cut right to the chase, we had probably 45 originators at our company at that point, and we're over 80 now. So
This was about 3 years ago then, right?
no, this is a year and a half.
This is a
ago.
year and a half ago. Oh, that's right.
Correct.
You've been in the industry. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but she's doing more than just bringing on people, right? Like, she's adding to our culture immensely, and so that's the other thing you got to build, right? You can't just have. It's not just a numbers game, right? These are real people. They're out there originating loans. We want to give them the best platform they can possibly have, and part of that is, being a part of what's going on, being valued. Knowing that the company is stable and has your back, and she's really added a lot to that.
Yeah, that's one of the the constant things that I keep hearing with everyone that comes on this podcast, and really top people. I mean, let's face it, you're on here. Not everyone gets to sit here, which is cool with Anthony and AIM. But one of the constants is, sure, there's numbers involved. It's mortgages, you're growing a business. But it really all comes down to culture of the business that trickles down to the client, right?
Right.
So it's not a numbers game. Hence, what I'm getting from both of you is you're both licensed loan officers, and because you want to know how to help your other loan officers treat the consumer the correct way, right?
Right.
That I mean, that's where I'm getting what I see, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm here because I want to learn from a lot of people like yourselves to help grow my own business.
Yeah,
right?
you're in a good seat.
Yeah, I'm in a great seat. I mean, it's only been 10 months since we've started our brokerage. And right now it's myself, my younger brother, and my sister's boyfriend, Jake. It's just us three.
Yeah.
And we're doing well. Where I struggle a bit, and this is where I could pick both of your brains at some point, is outside of this, but how to scale it correctly without losing the personal touch. I'm very controlling when it comes to the client because I feel like I do it the best way with the way we communicate and having the client's back. So it's...
I'll be honest with you
Yeah.
on that. I struggle with that too.
I'm sure, right?
That's a huge struggle, and I really haven't been the best at letting that go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I'm doing it now pretty well, but that's a new thing that's happened just in this last year.
Sure.
You know, and I mean, advice is not, you know, it is exciting to see what's going on. Like our numbers this year, we're over double what we closed last year, right? But you know, that's not really what drives me. Like it's more, you know, it's more doing it the right way. You know, and frankly, our goals this year is not to double again. Our goal this year is to do more volume, and we have set metrics that we're gonna hit. But you know, our machine, our team of people that supports our loan officers and our processors, they're gonna do things. They're going to be running like a well-oiled machine this year. And that's going to enable us so that when 2020 is over and we've hit our goal for 2020, from 2020 to 2021, we will be back in the double again position, and we will do that.
But it's almost, maybe this is a wrong analogy, but sometimes you take a step back to go, you know, one step back to go 5 forward, that old.
Yeah, and it's not, and I don't even view it as a step back because really, you know, if you grow... I guess what I'm saying to the smaller broker that's newer is don't try to grow too fast.
Sure.
You know, don't do it the wrong way. Don't give up your values. Don't give up your principles. Don't follow the money. Just do the service. Serve your clients. Serve your loan officers that are on your team, and the money will follow. You don't even need to worry about it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's another constant. I mean, obviously, if we have people on here saying, "Oh, we just want to get as much money as we can," it's just not gonna work out.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, if you're money motivated, like if you're, I'm not saying it's wrong to be money motivated,
sure,
but if the money is what you're really after, how are you going to take care of the people if all you're thinking about is money? You know, you got to take care of your people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now it sounds like you have a lot going on. You're both originating, right? Running a company.
Yeah.
Business development. How's the operation look to handle loans originating and other parts of your job?
Well, it
right?
looks really good because we've got excellent processors in place.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the big issues with the mortgage industry too is compliance, right?
Sure.
You got to make sure things are getting done the right way. So, you know, the processors that we have in place, these are people that are licensed. They have their licenses parked with us.
Okay.
So we know them. We trust them. I can talk to these processors. So they're kind of, you know, even though we have a platform for the independent loan officer to go out and succeed and market in their own way,
sure,
which we permit them to do, we still have trusted people that are on the job looking at those loans and
sure,
and turning them into us so that they're in a fashion that we can, you know, audit our sampling of them, make sure we know what people are doing, what's going on, to make sure that we can maintain that constant, permanent reputation of, hey, we do good, clean business here, you know?
Yeah, it's a funny time to be an owner of a mid-sized, larger type mortgage company like yourself, because everyone's promoting brand yourself, right? Which, like you said, you're permitting it and allowing it. You don't want to take that away because you see that you have to do that, right? Because we're all mini businesses.
Well, and I see, and the reason I see it is because that's what I did. I don't want anyone to take that opportunity away from me. I'm not going to deprive anybody of their opportunity to grow. In fact, I want to lay the foundation and everything in place for them to grow their business as big as they want it to be, the best way that they can do it, and just take that compliance nightmare off of their shoulders. Take it to all of those things, payroll, operations.
I've seen it from being a loan officer for I guess 7 years, working for other companies, and then deciding to branch out on our own. There's so much that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
In terms of, there's pricing, but the compliance factor is huge. Do you see anything, and anyone can answer here, in terms of, like you just saw, TRID, there might be changes with TRID. Is there anything in compliance you think should be changed?
Sure.
Or do you think we're in for the worse, or it should be lightened up, or actually put more compliance on?
Well, what I would like to see change is I just don't like how I do not like. There's a bunch of things that I don't like, actually. If we want to get into let's get into the let's dive right into the negative.
It. Yeah.
So you look at NAR, you look at the National Association of Home Builders. These guys have great lobbies in Congress.
Oh yeah,
and they get what they want.
We don't have that.
We don't have
Hopefully
it at all.
AIM is trying.
That's what I'm excited about. Anthony's leadership in lobbying, I think, is super, super important, and I'm really excited about it. If you look at our organization, the way we run it, we W-2 our loan officers because that's
the rule.
That's the rule, and we're going to follow that, and we're going to remain viable and compliant. Do I think it's right that we do that? Absolutely not.
Right.
No, they should be able to be 1099. I give them the latitude and freedom to run their business their own way. I'm only W-2ing them because the banks have gotten what they want. You know what I mean? And so we do that, but that's something that I think should change. I also don't like, if you look at some of our competitors, the big banks, and some of the correspondent lenders, their disclosure requirements differ from ours.
Yeah. And
I was really happy when I saw that change on the LE, but it's not right that our CD looks different than their CD.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, and it's when I go through Walmart, I'm not looking at I don't know what Walmart's margin is on everything that's in my cart.
Yeah.
And when a customer does their loan to the big bank, they don't know what that margin is either. So why is it disclosed from me? And look, we don't charge the max. We don't set our comp at 3.
No.
You know what I mean? We're not that company. We're more of a discount type of brokerage. But at the same time, I just this is America, damn it.
Yeah.
Let's have equity and freedom. And everybody be treated the same way, and that's what I would like. to see.
Transparency. I think that's the key, right?
Right.
It should just be the same across the board. Now, how are you guys set up? Are you do you have a line? Are you?
No.
Okay.
We're 100% total broker.
Total full broker.
Total broker.
Okay,
that doesn't mean we wouldn't do that at some point.
Yeah.
Those conversations have been had. We've actually recently had those conversations amongst some of our top producers in the company.
Sure.
And when that's what the majority of our people that are producing want, that's what we'll do. But right now, we're really happy. In the broker channel, pure broker.
Is there anything good you think on the compliance side that might be taken away? Because you hear trying to make it easier with the TRID rules and things like that. I think it's in a good spot, but
I think it's mostly in a good spot.
It's annoying.
I don't actually know what the things are they're talking about relaxing. I have seen a little bit of some of the news briefs on that, but I don't. I've been busy running the company, and I'm not the expert to talk to you about that.
Well, let's get a little bit more of a different take on it then. Since you've been in the business since '98, you've seen everything.
Yeah,
I've been in it since 2011, right when my oldest son was born. I'm like, I'm going to go full commission. Yeah, it makes sense, but it worked out. But you've been in the business 3.5 years, right? And licensed for 3.5 years as well.
A couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you're both at the ground floor originating, but Stacy's gonna have a different feel since you've been in it so long, right? Anything when you got in, let's say that because you're on the business development as well. Any struggles when you just starting out in the business that you could talk about when on the origination side, or anything you're struggling with now since you are a bit newer?
I think that I don't really worry about, I mean, Dave worries about compliance. I don't have to think about compliance.
Well, right. So,
and I wasn't licensed before TRID, and like, I mean, my CDs have always shown,
they've always been
my
that
margin.
way.
So I don't,
tainted.
yeah, I don't really, I'm not really the compliance type of person. I'm more like, hey, let's go have fun or do something else.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think as a newer loan officer, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest struggle that newer loan officers have is just finding business. I mean, we can all be taught how to do loans, and some of us are better at it than other people. And I like, Dave's really, really great with numbers, and, he has so much experience, scenarios. He's somebody that I really rely on to help me as I'm learning. But I think the trickiest part of being a loan officer, and where most loan officers struggle, is actually being out and marketing and bringing in the business so that we can get the experience that we need to be really good at loans.
Yeah. What are you doing on the marketing side to bring in the leads, or where are you teaching some other LOs or people you're bringing in? Where are you getting your leads, I guess?
So I'm a little bit different, I think, in the way that I market, because I just market directly to the consumer. Okay. I know that there's a big, push, right, for loan officers to go out and to build these realtor relationships. I don't necessarily want to work for a realtor. I want to work for my customer. And so the way that I've built my business is to just go directly to the consumer, and then I can choose the realtors that I really like and really want to work with. And then by giving them leads, that's how I've been able to develop some of my relationships with the realtor partners that I have, because I do know that those are valuable, right? It's valuable to have a referral partner. But I guess I'm not afraid to go out and realtors are being taught every day what to do in order to market to consumers. And I'm not afraid to go out and do those things. Do the same thing, right? And so I feel like that gives me a little bit of an advantage, because I'm not waiting for someone to give me a referral. Oh,
I love it. Yeah. We run our business the same type of way.
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies that you're doing to go direct to the consumer?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just everywhere, right? You're out in public doing this, like you just talk about your business, right?
Well, there's so much. I mean, the thing is there's so much opportunity, and there are so many ways to generate. Like, I can't, sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, there's so many things I could do today, and I'm so excited to do all of them. Like, I don't know even how to choose which one to do, right? Because we can market on social media. Like, I'm doing something really cool right now that I'm super excited about. I actually got it from Gary Vee, right? To be like a digital mayor in your community, right? So I've started a group in my community. Right now we have 1,000 people in the group. It's called Draper Happenings. And it's just me going out and learning about Draper, meeting families in Draper and introducing them, talking about the school athletes. I just interviewed all the people who are running for city council.
That was awesome.
It's just an opportunity for me to be known in my community. I think I listened to a podcast, and I wish I could remember the name of the person, because it was such a good podcast, but he was a younger guy. And it was with Josh Pitts, and he said, I just want to make sure. He says, I don't care if people know that I'm in mortgage. I just want them to know who I am, right? I want to walk down the street in Draper and have people say, oh, that's Stacy Catmull. Yep. You know what I mean? Because then they're going to remember that I do mortgages, and I'm always going to stay top of mind. But I don't necessarily want to put my whole life on social media. But this is a way, one thing I found with Facebook groups, and I use it in recruiting too, it's a way for me to really, truly, like, to be myself in a comfortable way without sharing all of my personal life. So Facebook groups, that's one thing that I do. Just trying to get out in the community. I think it's really important to be in flow with your database, really working your database. I mean, I have hundreds of people that already know me, like me, and trust me. And so why would I not focus on my database, on building my database? So just trying to be in a flow with my database, make sure that I'm reaching out to them with value. I'm never reaching out to them saying, hey, I want to do your mortgage or whatever, but, trying to send out, an email or something that has value, sending out texts, even just like finding people who are connectors and influencers and trying to build relationships with them. But one thing that I found is that it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? If you're doing activity, then the law of attraction says it's going to come. So a lot of what I get doesn't even come from like what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
But it comes because I'm just putting it out there. So as long as you're putting it out there, you can't make a mistake at all when you're growing your business or when you're recruiting or whatever it is. Just get out there and talk to people.
Yeah. So you're being very organic about it.
Yeah.
Right. There's no really, maybe this is a part of, maybe, I don't know, part of your business of maybe Facebook ads or whatever it is, but you're mostly, like I am, 99% organic, forming relationships, not really talking about mortgage,
right?
But they know you do mortgage,
right?
And really having that personalized, I keep bringing up the word personalized automation.
Yeah.
Because it's very tough to hit a lot of people personalized and catered to them. And that kind of leads me to the next spot, like support staff, right? You have about 80 loan officers now.
Yeah.
But what's that look like, the people supporting the loan officers?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they want to get paid, right?
Yeah.
So we pay every week, every Friday, the money's in their account when they wake up. So my business partner, Neil, and our staff, they make sure that happens. So that's one piece of support. The other support that they get is, the processors that we have that they're authorized to use know what they're doing, and they're really, really good. The other things that we encourage them to leverage is their account executives, right, with the lenders. I mean, you're a broker for a reason, right? You want choice, you want flexibility. Mm-hmm. If you're sending a loan to Caliber, let's say, or if you're sending a loan to United, sure, I can talk to you about it, and I use those lenders, but why don't you call your account executive, And so we teach people to be independent and to get things done. I mean, that's really an efficiency, right? I mean, a lot of these companies I know, and I'm not against it, and there's different ways to run your company, and there's a lot of things work for a lot of different people. But one of the things that we do to keep costs down and to keep loan originator commissions high,
right,
is to cut out the fat, right? So we run a pretty lean and mean machine. We do the things that we need to do, and I'm really excited about the stuff that Stacy is doing, because she is running events for our company and things that we do for consumers and for loan officers, and people will see more of that this year that add to culture. But at the end of the day, we're not a company that gives you a loan officer assistant. We're not a company that does
that's what I was going to ask, how that works,
and does every little thing. No, we're the company that's going to give you top dollar. We're the company that's going to enable you to have some extra money in your pocket so that you can run your business and do your marketing the way that you would choose to do it.
Yeah, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like okay, you and Neil started, your originators.
Yeah.
Then the beast kind of took over, right? And you're like, oh, people want to come work with us. We're doing the right thing. So
which grew organically.
That's what I was going to say. It wasn't pointed, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say something else about organic, too. You brought up how Stacy's marketing, recruiting, business development efforts have been organic. Mm-hmm. No one is successful at that type of an organic operation without consistency.
Correct.
Consistency, the value of consistency cannot be overstated. So many people listening to this podcast are wanting to grow their business. They're wanting to grow their business, and they hear all these ideas, and they'll do a couple of things, and they'll do them for a week or two.
That's it.
Or they'll drop off and get back. If you don't maintain a constant consistency in what you're doing over time, you will not succeed. And that's why she's been so successful, in my view. She has that magic ability, if you want to call it that, to stay on top of it, and no one's making her do it. I don't call her up and check on her. She knows that internally. Yeah,
it really sounds like you guys grew organically and
slowly over time, right? Like I know there might be some brand new person who just got their license a year ago, who's got 20, 30 loans under their belt, and they might be thinking, hey, I want to have this really big company, and I want this, that, or the other. And to me, it's more exciting to see somebody who's got some experience and who builds it slowly and the right way over time. Because if you're just trying to get big to make money, then are you serving the consumer? Is your compliance right? So and that doesn't mean that you don't build it big. It just means that you do it the right way. Over time.
Well, let's talk about then bringing on a new loan officer. You both could comment on this, right? Since you're both in that mix.
Not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Right?
Well, not so much. I mean, I joke about that because we're not really We're not out there recruiting.
You're not out there recruiting, but if
but we're not even trying to bring in brand new people.
Got it.
Right? Because I don't think that my business model is the
that
one
was
that
the
necessarily
question.
best serves the brand new loan originator. That doesn't mean that if I didn't see something special in a younger millennial that I wouldn't hire them, because we are looking to bring in that generation who has been almost completely absent from the mortgage industry. But yeah, we're not that company.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If you were, at some point you may, right? Like you said, maybe a year from now or whatever it may be. Because right now, most of your loan officers, they came to you with maybe a book of business or had some seasoning, right?
Correct.
Because there's no fault against someone brand new in the industry.
No.
But it's a hard industry. Let's be honest. It's hard.
And the idea that someone who knows very little and who doesn't have very much experience is going to go grow some large organization. I mean, it's kind of silly, right? I mean, and that doesn't mean. And I'm the biggest believer. And if anybody believes they can do something and they want to go do it,
sure,
absolutely, they can go do it. But there are some things that need to be in place, particularly in a complex, compliance-heavy industry like this, before you can actually go and do that.
What, in your opinion, what have you seen? And you're newer into the industry, more new. How long does it? I may have asked this already, but how long does it take to feel like you're comfortable being a loan officer, like from the ground floor up? Is it a year? Is it 6 months? Is there a time frame you can put on that? Where I'm speaking to a brand new loan officer getting in.
Yeah, for me, it seems like, when I got in the business, I spent the first 6 months wondering if I was going to make it. And actually, I didn't, that sounds wrong. I didn't really think that the whole time, but there was a couple of times, when I started in like June or July of 98. When I got to like October, November, there was a couple times where I was like, man, I'm not making enough money. Am I going to do this? But I had put in the work. And when we got to April, I closed like a mountain of loans. And for back then, I made a ton of money. And I wasn't even on a very high commission, but I had this huge month, 5-figure month. I was like, wow. And then there, I just knew. I knew I had made it. And I knew that I didn't need to look back ever again. So, but I would say by the time someone's got 2 or 3 years and I don't think it's just time, right? It's not just
time.
It's not just the passage of time. Like if you've had your license for 3 years, you could be somebody who knows almost nothing, who hasn't closed that many loans, or you could be somebody who now, knows 80% of what guys like me who've been in the business for 20 years know, and you could literally be prepared to go launch an exceptional mortgage brokerage.
Yeah.
But I would say, just generally speaking, if you haven't been in the business for at least 3 years and you haven't done a lot of business in that time frame, you're probably not the right person to build a mortgage brokerage that is going to represent the broker community in the way that I think AIM wants it to be. Right?
Got it. Okay. That's a great answer to that question. Stacy, so we spoke a bit about the loan officer side for you, right? But and we just spoke about you're not you're not blatantly recruiting, if that's even the word, but you're on the business development side. What are some of the things that you're doing right now to put the company in the best light? And what are some things you're doing in that business development role?
So, we are recruiting.
Right.
We don't recruit new loan officers necessarily. That's not our target, but we are very recruiting focused. And I would say, I don't know. I kind of feel like when I first started recruiting, like I didn't really know anything. I didn't really know how to recruit in this. I didn't know anything about mortgages. And like it just kind of evolved, right? But it kind of evolved in like this scattered way.
Sure.
Honestly, like sometimes I don't really know what the secret is.
Just
you know what I mean? Like it just happened. All I know is that like I've always put people first. I've always put loan officers first. I can't tell you how many loan officers I've referred to other companies because I don't know if the company was a fit, right? For me, it's never been about trying to convince people to join my company. It's about sorting through the people who are a right fit for us. And because of that, I've always been able to I just genuinely care about the loan officers that I work with and the people that come to me. I want them to have what what they want. So I wouldn't consider myself necessarily a salesperson. The other thing that I knew is that I also didn't want to be like the office joke. I didn't want to be that recruiter that called everybody in the office and then everybody just kind of sat and joked about. I mean, we have them, right?
That's there, yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted to be giving value to people. I always wanted to be giving them something so that they knew that that I cared about them. So it's always been a very value focused. It's always been very value focused. The other thing that I think has been a key to my success is that the companies that I've worked for, they've allowed me to brand myself as a recruiter instead of necessarily just, and for some people that might seem dangerous, right? But you think about the recruiters who call you. Do you even really remember their names, or do you just remember the company that they're recruiting for, right? They're just kind of like these nameless, faceless people who are calling for a certain company. So I've tried to brand Stacy Catmull, right? Like, I'm your friend in the industry. I'm here if you need me. If you have a resource, hey, here's a great tip. Here's something that you can do to build your business. Here's an event that we're having that that will help. I mean, whatever it is, I've always just tried to make it something really valuable and then let them know that it's coming from me. And because of that, I think I've attracted different people in the industry. I've attracted friends. And I mean, like when a new loan officer joins our company, I share it to the company page. The company doesn't share it. You know what I mean? So people know me and they know my name. They know when they're trying to make that transition, I'm top of mind, not necessarily. And that, I think, that can be like kind of scary, I think, for people, right? But then what I do is when I bring them in, what I want to do, my first thing that I want to do is I want to tie them to Altius. You know what I mean? Like, they came through me, but they belong to Altius. So I've just tried to always give value. I've used social media a lot through recruiting, but I think I use it in a little bit of a different way because I try to use it to actually build relationships. So I use like my Facebook Messenger tool quite a bit. But I'm trying to build friendships. I don't ever send out a message that says, "Hey, this is Stacy. I'm with Altius Mortgage. Here's blah 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 blah. All the cool things we do." Like it's not about Altius, right? My message may be, "Hey, Dave, what's going on? I've seen you on Facebook a ton. How are things going in your business?" Right? Just like, let's start a conversation, and I try to allow them to do most of the talking, and then find out if I'm a good fit, and if I'm a good fit for some pain or something, like maybe to help them accomplish their next dream. Then I come in and I talk to them about Altius.
Yeah, what are one or two things to tell, because we're seeing it more and more, smaller brokerages looking to expand, right? And one big piece of that is business development, recruiter in there to find the right people that fit those core values. That's what I'm getting. You're not actively recruiting, you are, but you're really looking for that 1 out of 100 that fits.
Right.
What you've got, what you've developed in your culture. You're not taking anyone on.
It's more than 1 out of 100.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, right. I'm sure it's a lot more than 1 out of 100.
But you have to know, as a company, you have to know what you have to offer. You have to know your value, right? So you can't find those people who fit if you don't know who you are. Like, so often you'll go on a recruiting appointment or you'll talk to a recruiter and there's nothing that's, like, it's just a conversation that doesn't make any sense, right?
Well, it's a pitch to get them. It's very, almost it's needy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the old model of putting butts in chairs, right? Let's get as many as we can, numbers, right? Volume. That's the complete opposite of what you're trying to do.
But if you are a company, like, you have to, like, these small brokers especially, like, you have to know what you are offering, what your value is. Like with Altius Mortgage, there's 3 things, right? We have great pricing, we have great compensation, and we allow you to do it your way. Right? Those are 3 things that are really, really important. And I know those things. So they can talk to me and share what's going on with them, share their experience, share their pain, share their pleasure. I ask tons and tons of questions, but when I come to my pitch, I'm committed to that pitch. Like I believe it, right? Like I know why we're great and I know why I'm going to be great for you. Mm-hmm. And these are the reasons. And it's like, I'm like almost like evangelical about it, like I believe it, you know, I believe.
Well, you have to.
And like, if you can feel that way about your company, like, and it's not just about, you're not just going out saying, oh, this is what we have for you. Or
here's what I'll pay you. Here's the sign-on bonus.
But you're thinking in your head, right? I really want. This will help me so much. But I can, like, when I find that right person and then I tell them about my company, I mean, it's like praise Jesus. You know what I mean? Like we found the truth.
That's awesome.
But when you're not talking to the right person, you don't feel that energy or that spark, right? Because it's not the right fit for them. So, I mean, I think those conversations are really fun. Like when you've when you found that right person, and then you just, get to share the truth with them, and and they accept. They accept it, and you feel the Holy Ghost, and it's all good.
I love it. And now you guys have both had mentioned events that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Is that more geared towards the client or realtor partners or the culture of the office? What are some of those events? I'm
going to let Stacy mostly answer that. Yeah. But there's one thing I want to bring up about that too, because we talk about recruiting, but the reason we use the term business development is because it's not just about recruiting. Mm-mm. So, we're going to lay our goals out to our company. I don't want to do that here before we've even laid it out.
That's
to
fine,
our people. But I will say this. One of our big goals for 2020 is to elevate the business volume of each of our individual originators. So we're not just focusing, it's not just get more people, it's how do we help these people who are here with us today do more business? Because we want them to feel a part of all the success that we're having, and we want them to feel it in their pocketbook and in their experience with the company. And so, that's one thing that we'll be really focused on. And these events and the things that Stacy's going to talk about here in a second all play into that. And we've been doing it, and we're doing it more.
Cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have different types of events that we have. And this year, so as you grow, right, then you have to grow more, right? So I think like this last year, we brought on a whole bunch of people, and we've just kind of been figuring out, how to work that, how to make it a really great experience for them. And then this next year is like, it's like the next step. It's like, okay, how do we build Altius to be a company that will attract even more people and even better people, right? It's like the next step. It's like, okay, let's take a minute and let's figure out what's going on inside of us right now and make sure that we're exactly who we want to be, right? Because we've just had this great growth and we want to take it to the next level. So you kind of got to dig deep. So we have a lot of fun things that are planned for this year, but I think that, we have events like customer appreciation events, client appreciation events, things like that we do for our loan officers. I think those are things that are really important. There's a lot of companies who do that.
Just real quick, could you touch on like what they are, what type of events to let other people know what they could do?
Like a really easy one that we've done is a pumpkin patch, right? Okay. There's usually local pumpkin patches all over the place that will let you come in, they'll use your pumpkin patch, and all they do is just charge you for the pumpkins. Yeah. So even if you're like a small brokerage or, whatever it is, like you can do a really inexpensive event for your clients, and everybody loves a pumpkin patch. Like it's so well attended.
Who doesn't like a pumpkin patch?
Yeah, it's just, it's cute and fun and just, it's so easy to put on, right? You set up a table, you get some donuts, you get some hot chocolate, you bring in a photographer to take some pictures by the pumpkins. Yep. Like it's just really easy to put on. Another one that we do is an Easter egg hunt during the spring. And that's another one. It's super inexpensive to do. Like you buy some plastic eggs, we have an Easter bunny costume. It's just so easy. Get some cookies and milk, and it's so easy to put on, and it just doesn't really even cost anything.
Okay.
Which is important in our business model because we're trying to maintain the costs, keep the costs low so that we can pass on the majority, that loan officer wants the lion's share of the money. That's part of being a broker is getting most of the money. Yeah. So you got to manage your costs and make that happen for them.
So you're finding events that are keeping the company lean but still adding the value. It's tough. It's very tough.
And the loan officers may be paying for their clients' pumpkins, but you know what? That's going to come back to them too. And frankly, part of our culture is understanding that you are investing in your business, and that it is your business and that you're willing to do that. And you understand you have most of the money. You can afford to invest in yourself.
Yeah. Cool.
So another way is to use events in recruiting. So like we've had some social media workshops where we've been able to bring loan officers in from other companies. And I have more of those on the schedule this year. Like I think it's really important to just have events where you're offering value. Like I have a gal coming in a couple of weeks that I'm just inviting women in our industry too that are, local. She's talking about confidence and, how to build your confidence and how to kind of get past some roadblocks and things like that. But it's just a lunch. But it's an opportunity for loan officers to come in and to get value, to get to know me, to be in the Altius office. It's just a really great way to recruit. But the other thing that's great about that too is that it gives me a reason to call loan officers. It gives me a reason to text loan officers. It gives me a reason to reach out on Messenger, and it's not just, hey, I'd really love you to join my company.
Some
it's
substance
like,
here.
yeah, it's like, hey, we're doing this really cool event. You should come, I'd love to have you there. And then as I make those calls, like I'm not a cold caller. Like I want to have a reason. And
why would you
give you that reason?
Why would you even call those people when you don't even know if we even want them in our company? It's
weird.
Better to get to know them first.
Yeah.
Like
see if they're like-minded.
And then after you know them, it's like, oh, well, I should talk to this person.
Right.
Or I should talk to that person.
Or they maybe not fit here, but I know someone else they might be a fit for.
Exactly.
Or better yet, you've now been doing this for years and they're calling you. And Stacy has some of that
That's the way to do it.
People are in the industry, they're aware of her, they're aware of us. But because of that foundation and that groundwork that you've laid over years of consistent communication and outreach to the entire broker community and the community at large, people are just calling you. And really, that's how we've grown even before Stacy came. And now that she's here, it's just elevated the pace on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been interesting. I mean, even this year, like I've even had people call me just to ask for my advice and they didn't even know that I was a recruiter. Like, so,
that's cool.
But that's just what I've tried. I've just always tried to just give value, give them a reason
and it always
to want to
back.
connect. Yeah.
Yeah. We do a lot with that. Right now we are working on I hate saying vendor, but a vendor list, right? So all our friends, family, people we've met, and we have a specific group on Facebook called Hussey's Homeowners.
Yeah.
Only clients are allowed in there. It's private. But now we're formulating a list of other vendors in the local area that we can refer to. And we're doing it real grassroots and organics. We have this list. So
that's brilliant.
So people come to us all the time, not mortgage, right? It's just, hey, do you have a plumber? Or anything, a babysitter that I saw that you put that on Facebook that, Mia, the babysitter, was watching. Like, does she have a friend? Like, we're constantly doing things like that. So,
So let me ask you a question now.
Sure.
The people that go in and use that page, how many of those people do you think are going to go anywhere else for a loan over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years?
They're just not.
They're not.
Like, they're a client for life. They're a friend for life. We've became friends with a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
It's really
That's
cool.
how it's done.
Yeah.
That's how
it's done. But it takes time, right?
Right.
Like 5-6 years ago, that's what I decided. I'm not cold calling realtors. I don't like it. I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm going all in on social media and just staying in the local community, starting here and just growing out. That's what we've done. And it took time, right? But in today's world, you can start doing that and have a decent following within 6 months to a year, right?
Even sooner. That's
you've
the
been
thing.
doing this for a while outside mortgage.
If you just are consistent, right? It's being willing to do it every single day. I mean, I started a group called Powerful Mortgage Women, a Facebook group, and I really didn't even start it for recruiting purposes, but it became a really great recruiting tool. But within a couple of months, I can't even tell you how that one Facebook group that I was consistent in completely changed my career. It completely changed it. It just connected me with different people. And I mean, it is just amazing with social media. I mean, it does take time for sure, but you can see results real quick.
That's what I'm saying. We've been trying to figure out, and it took us 5 years.
Yeah.
You can do it quickly by listening to what you have to say, and other people we've had on the podcast, and people in AIM and Brokers Are Better group and everything. There's so many resources out there to jump off quick.
There's so many resources.
You know what I love about that group that you've got on Facebook?
Yeah.
You didn't get paid one dime for putting that together.
No, it's all free.
You had to go in and you had to do all this stuff and never know what it was. But those seeds you were casting,
that's all it was.
It's all kind of, it will come back and it will feed you for a long time.
Yeah.
That thing is just, I love hearing about that. That's just amazing.
It's a really great idea.
That's a really great
idea. I mean,
it's awesome.
I appreciate that. We're always working and evolving, but again, like you said earlier, when you had that moment where you're like, wow, I had a good month. I'm good. Like, I don't have the fear of not making money. It's good to have a little bit of the fear, I think.
Sure.
But it took us time to get there, and we're finally starting to feel it after 5-6 years. This group's been together 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. Like, we don't make they just come back.
Yeah.
And we have a family, and we can sleep at night. And it's not all about money. We're not even talking about money.
No,
here.
exactly.
It just comes.
You're not. And now they're using you because they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And we know you're a broker, so we know you got great pricing. It's good for the consumer. I mean, it's just the most brilliant way to build a business.
It really is.
And I just love it.
Yeah, it's great. Now, we have about 10 minutes or so. All right. That was about 45 minutes and went by quick, right?
Yeah.
I'll start with David. One or two things you can, let's talk about it, if you don't mind, scaling your business or where you've come, or really anything. One or two things you can give everyone out there that looking to scale, or whether it's culture, whatever you want to tell them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty open.
Yeah, that's pretty open.
We hit on a lot.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But I would just say that, look, if you're looking to really grow and build something big, have a long-term mentality, not a money-driven short-term mentality.
Sure.
The same way that you should be relationship-based as opposed to transaction-based, right? If you're relationship-based, you're thinking about the greater good of everybody who's a part of that transaction and their long-term benefit. If you're transaction-based, you're just trying to close the next deal and make the next money. All you're thinking about is cash and a short-term issue. Go long-term. Think big, and put in the work. Be consistent with what you're doing, and give a I just thought of something. This is really, really good. I think this is one of the reasons that we're successful, and one of the reasons that we retain people is our loan. And I'm not saying that we're perfect in this,
right?
And we're trying to get better every day. But if you're a mortgage loan officer at Altius Mortgage, you know that on Friday morning the funds are in your account. There. And if you miss the cutoff, you know that they're going to be there the next Friday. And it doesn't mean that we've never made a mistake on payroll, but it's a consistent thing that everybody knows they can count on. And so, have that service level. Like, if you want to, everybody's got this idea. Yeah, I want to bring on more loan officers, and I want to make more money, and this is going to be great. But the reality is, don't look at it as I'm going to make this much off of this loan officer or whatever. Look at how can you serve them? How can you add value to them? What can you do to make their business be better? If you answer those questions, the money will take care of itself. And be aware too. I'm not even necessarily recommending it to everybody. If I look back, if I take Neil and myself back to 2009, if he and I had said no to more people who wanted to organically join us, if we had said no to those people, and Neil and I had only focused on building our own personal mortgage origination businesses, and instead of bringing on more loan officers, had decided to hire assistants, would we have made more money between 2009 and say 2015? Yeah, we would have for sure. We would have for sure. We spent many years investing. And this is one secret maybe people don't know, but like Neil and I didn't even buy lunches on the company's dime until like 2012. Just so you know. Like, we were laying the foundation. We were living off of our own commissions, off of our own originations for many years while building this. But we knew that the loan officers needed to have most of the money. So we make money off the company today because we're in high volume. Sure. Right? And we've got a big thing. But we weren't looking to, some people are just, if you're taking a short-term approach, it's just not going to work. Long-term and consistency. Long-term. That's what I'm getting from that. Yeah, exactly. Stacy, what do you got for us?
I just want to second that really quick, because we just kind of have had the most amazing year, right? We've brought on over 40 loan officers this year, and we just market to our little county. Like, we're not even nationwide. We're not even, it's amazing in the entire state.
And to give you an idea, I will throw numbers out. So 2018, we closed about 150 million. 2019 is going to be just over 350 million. Wow.
So that's pretty significant growth. But the thing is that Dave and Neil, they put in the foundation. I think there are a lot of people out there who are like, they haven't put in that foundation and they just want to grow. And I've had the experience where we have where I have recruited lots and lots of loan officers and the company still hasn't made money. So your foundation is just,
I've seen that.
It's just really, really important. I think that I don't necessarily, like, I don't know if I'm necessarily giving this as advice, this next thing, but it's something that I'm trying to work on that people might find helpful. I'm really trying to work on being intentional. It's like going to be my word of the year, right? Being intentional. I feel like there's a lot of things that I can be doing as far as like, planning and creating plans and making plans going forward that are going to really, really enhance my business instead of just kind of going haphazard, around little things. Like, so I've actually spent the last 2 days, yesterday on the plane and then last night and then this morning, creating like an actual exact plan for what I'm going to be doing. Like every single day I'm doing this, every single week I'm doing this, and really focusing on my database when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to loans, and being in a flow with my database where I'm going to be reaching out to them 3 times a month. I'm going to be doing, I'm going to talk with 50 people and ask them questions about themselves. And like, I'm really kind of getting it down to a science, because I think that those of us, like if you have a personality and you're willing to go out and do it, then you're going to have success, right? But if you have a personality, if you're willing to go out and do it, and then you become very intentional, I think that's when your success just goes crazy.
That's where it goes.
Right? And so that's where, like, I just want to take it to the next level this year. And so I think that would be my advice to people is like, get intentional with your day. Like, stop wasting time. Don't open your email until you've done your prospecting. Just being really, really intentional about your day and about your business and having that plan and then just executing. And I just don't think you can lose if you do that. Like, there's just so much opportunity out there.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to both of you. I appreciate the talk. That was good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll pick your brain sometime outside of this, if you don't mind.
Maybe we'll pick yours.
Oh, all right. Thank you, guys. This was
you.
David Monson and Stacy Catmull.
Yep. Thanks.
Altius
Altius Mortgage.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.